gender stereotypes are always there, in the sense that when I joined in Udaipur, I was comparatively, I was, how old? 27, 26, and all the staff was elder to me.
Hmm.
So from day one, I was wearing very official looking cotton saris, and I grew up overnight so that I had to look more senior. So
Right.
those genders did, and somehow I feel that yes, I had to be
Hmm.
more careful, more correct than perhaps men.
She was not planning to be a civil servant till she got married. With her husband's advice, she prepared for the exam, cleared it, and completed her training while managing her family and kid. Once she joined IRS, there was no looking back. She faced everything which came in her way without any complaints or regrets. This is the story of IRS officer Miss Irina Garg, who recently retired as Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, Jaipur. Hello and welcome. This is Pallavi, and you are watching Indian Masterminds. Today, I am sitting with Miss Garg to chat about her journey, her passion for ceramics, and her experience of facing the camera for the first time. Let's welcome her. So, hi, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining Indian Masterminds.
Most welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for this interview.
Okay, so from 1988 to 2024, more than 30 years of service in Indian Revenue Services. Now you are retired. So when you look back, how do you feel about your days in bureaucracy? Was it satisfactory? How was it?
Extremely satisfactory because I gave it my best.
Okay.
So yes.
So you always wanted to be a civil servant, or it was during your course of journey, like studying, and what is the story of you being a civil servant?
It's a very interesting story. Uh, I got married, and my husband belongs to the Rajasthan cadre, the Indian Administrative Service.
Okay.
And so he used to be very busy as an SDM.
Hmm.
This was immediately after our marriage, and I did not really know what to do with myself.
Hmm.
And so he encouraged me to write the exam.
Okay, so that's how you gave your exam. Matlab, before that, you were not planning of any career or what?
Well, my mother had more ambitions
Hmm.
for all of us put together, but I was never ever serious about this.
Okay.
Hmm.
So you started preparation after getting married. So how many attempts and all? Thoda sa if you can elaborate your
This
journey.
was my first attempt.
And you got IRS and you were satisfied. You didn't want to be in IRS, maybe just like your husband or anything. You were okay.
No, no, no.
And till these 3 decades, you served in Rajasthan only, or a central deputation also.
I went on central deputations twice, once to the Ministry of HRD, and um, the next time it was agriculture marketing.
Okay.
Agriculture, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so do you remember your first posting after you got into the services?
Udaipur.
Udaipur. So how was it? If you can take me to your day one or maybe 1 month of your initial service.
It was crazy. I had a small baby, and another one was on its way,
Hmm.
and the entire the entire scenario of going to office and managing a house. I mean, it was like juggling so many balls at the same time.
Right, right. I can understand your situation right now also. But right now you mentioned that you had one baby. So when you prepared also during that time, were you pregnant or you had your baby or it came during your training session and all?
I was carrying I was 3 months in the family away when I joined the academy on January 9th, 89.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's inspiring, like, बहुत सारे लोग might they usually quit services, usually us women, after getting into family and all. So but you started your journey with your baby, so that's really great. So now, ma'am, if given a choice right now, like after 3 decades of services, will you give IRS for IAS or any other service, or
No,
no?
absolutely not.
Okay.
See, it's mythical when they say this service is better or that service is better.
Hmm.
It's you who are, it's what you bring to your job.
Hmm.
That is what matters and what defines you
Right.
ultimately, because every service comes with its handicaps, its problems, and its positives. So,
Right.
the service is a matter. I personally feel it's what you bring to the job at hand, which matters.
Okay, so you became aware of this civil services through your husband, but still there are many myth about civil services जो outsiders को तो at least लगती है. So were there any myths which broke when you actually entered the field as an officer?
Well, you see, Pallavi, I never did have a myth.
Hmm.
It wasn't as if it was very planned or I had studied about it or I had a lot of expectations. I was I was always good at academics. So after my marriage, when my husband kind of said, you find something to do with yourself. So I went about reading for these exams. So I didn't honestly have much time to go in for myth building,
Hmm.
and which in a way was good because whatever came was
Hmm.
what it really was. So it was acceptable to me. There was no running away from it or no denying it or no expectations, basically.
Right. But things have, especially if we talk from a point of view of a women, things have changed much better now. But back in the day, like, were there any posting or any job which you were denied due to your gender or because you were a mom or something like that?
No.
So you never कभी ऐसा सामना नहीं करना पड़ा gender stereotype or this things during your career?
Gender stereotypes are always there, in
Okay.
the sense that when I joined in Udaipur, I was comparatively, I mean, I was, how old? 27, 26, and all the staff was elder to me.
Hmm.
So from day one, I was wearing very official looking cotton saris, and I grew up overnight so that I had to look more senior. So
Right.
those genders did, and somehow I feel that yes, I had to be
Hmm.
more careful, more correct than perhaps men,
Hmm.
and work a little harder, perhaps. I remember I had gone for an executive program, and our course director said that, Mrs. Garg, you are as intelligent as a man, as ambitious as a man, but you don't smile. I mean, surely you should allow yourself to smile and become a woman once in a while.
Hmm.
But it had been a lifetime training to sort of um,
Be serious all.
not be, yes, not to emphasize my femininity at the workplace.
Right.
I am not any longer, but I was an officer and I had to come across as an officer than a woman.
Right. Actually, I was asking you because I was interviewing Rashmi Saxena, ma'am. I don't know if you know her. She also retired, I guess, last year or something. So she told me when she, in her first posting, when she joined her office, I guess a peon or some subordinate of her was coming and going in her office, like वो बार बार curtain से देख रहे थे and all. So then she called him and asked कि ऐसे क्यों देख रहे हो? Then he told her कि मैं देख रहा हूँ कि lady officer कैसे दिखती है. So that is why, because it was also ना उतने पहले there were only few women who were into the, especially
Yes.
into the
Yes.
services. So I
Yes.
was so इस type का कुछ ऐसा incident, did that happen with you?
Uh, the only thing I recall is Like when the lack of toilets for women, that is something they hadn't planned for then.
Right. But
In
now
offices, yes, now as we grew senior in management, we absolutely came forward to provide for the next generation.
right.
Yeah.
So now when you look back, which assignment of yours, was the most satisfactory, which you would like to share with us? Jo, matlab, like it was beyond your expectation, the kind of happiness it gave to you.
It's a difficult question. Because, again, like I say, every assignment was a teaching experience, a learning experience. But surprisingly, I really found happiness in HRD, where I was looking after higher technical education, that is IITs. And I learned so much then, so much, interacting with the directors of the IITs. And yeah, and then right at the end of my journey, I was posted at Bombay. And that was a phenomenal experience because I was at the helm of the auction of the seized paintings in the Nirav Modi case.
Okay.
And that was a tremendous, learning experience again.
Okay. So
And, yeah.
if you can elaborate that experience, or it was just, auctioning those paintings, or what was it challenging in some
It was very challenging because, again, everything was a first. There were no precedents. And, we created precedents. Decisions had to be taken on the spot. You couldn't turn around. There was no support. You were on your own. You had a team that you were leading. And you decided on the spot to make it happen.
Right.
So that was interesting.
Okay, and जितना मुझे समझ आता है, IRS deals with income taxes and also they have an investigation wing जो rates and all करती है. You also became part of that, और जब when you retired as principal chief commissioner तो सारी चीज you authorized. But any raid experience which you remember, which was challenging in many more ways, जितना at least movie में दिखाते हैं उससे थोड़े ज़्यादा, if you can share with us.
It's first of all, let me just correct it factually. Principal chief commissioners do not authorize searches. It is a separate, is a director general who does that.
Okay.
And yeah. And as for searches, yes, I have been on searches, and this was an Ajmer, and it wasn't even meant to be a search. It was a survey. And my team had kind of gone to the official, the business premises, and I had to go to the office. And we thought it's a simple matter, Gutke wale ka case tha, and I thought we'll wrap it up in a couple of hours. So when I entered there, I found this gentleman, wo gutke ka bada sa ek thela tha, and he said, I'm going out for delivery of the gutka. I said, well, I'm sorry, sir, but we are here, and it's not going to take a lot of time. We just go through your papers, your accounts, because on surveys, you're not supposed to go inside the residence. But for him, the problem was that his office room was in his residence. So we entered, and this man was acting very shifty with that bag. And he was trying to pull it in, shift it. And I said, what's wrong with him? I mean, what's this? What's his problem? And I didn't have a lot of stuff because I wasn't expecting trouble. I was just supposed to go through the accounts. And I said, let me take a look at what you're doing. Why are you taking it? He's like, nahi, ma'am, kuch nahi. And he opened. So I said, I insisted then, because by that time I was seriously suspicious. And so he opened it, and all I could see was notes, and currency. So that was huge. So we called up, and if you recall, it wasn't as if we had a lot of cell phones, वगैरह उस ज़माने में नहीं. So I just sent, I had 2 inspectors and with me. So I said, you run along and tell them to convert it into a search so that we can now get into, because we won't be otherwise able to seize this money.
Okay.
I still remember the DG used to sit in Jaipur, of course. Even now, the DG sits in Jaipur, and this was in Ajmer. And he said, "ये तो बच्ची है, इसने कभी 45." I'd asked this fellow कि कितना पैसा है, and he said, "This is 45 lakhs." And I'm talking about 97.
Okay.
So my DG says कि ये तो बच्ची है, इसने कभी 45 लाख देखे भी हैं. मैंने कहा, सर, मैंने कभी नहीं देखे, and right now I'm sitting on it because I'm so scared that if he runs away with it, we've lost the case. Right. So we are requested to kindly expedite sanctioning of the search. Right. And that, at that point of time, was the biggest search in Rajasthan. We, in terms of cash seizure, because it was 3.04 crores. I still remember the thing.
Okay, and it was your first search?
No, I had been, as an authorized person, I had been to other searches, but this is, for me, was the most memorable one because it lasted, it had other aspects also, like he simply, nobody does that on their own. He just wouldn't tell us. He said, आप 45 लाख ले जाइए और इसके अलावा कोई पैसा नहीं है. तो जब सर्च करते 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 फिर वो एक कमरे में आई आस्क्ड दिस इंस्पेक्टर, मैंने कहा ये कमरा कर लिया? तो बोले हाँ सब कर लिया, यहाँ कुछ नहीं है. So I have this habit of always double checking. It's a personality trait. So I went there and I came across this plastic file जिसमें उसके 7 lockers के वो थे.
Pins and all, or keys.
Yes, that he had taken 7 lockers. I said, ये तुमने क्या किया? ये तो आपने. And this was like, we had reached in the morning at 11 at his premises, and this was 6 a.m. in the morning. Okay. Working continuously. And then I said, what is this? These lockers are in your name. So, इसमें क्या रखा हुआ है? इसकी चाबियां कहाँ हैं? And that's when he sort of broke. He said,
अब तो नहीं बचा सकता मैं, जो है जाएगा. Okay. So, ma'am, अभी, like, after all these years, if you have to, if you are asked कि एक major चीज that has been changed in bureaucracy, and what it would be, apart from technology, like you just said कि उस समय phone नहीं होते थे, now it's easier you can communicate in various ways, whether it's WhatsApp call or anything, but उसके अलावा any major change which you feel?
I think technology, you've hit it. Technology has totally revolutionized our department now.
Okay, and if you are given a chance to change one thing in bureaucracy, then what it would be? With all your experiences, जहाँ पे difficulties आए and you think कि ये तो change करना चाहिए.
For me, it's a very, very existential question, Pallavi. It is not restricted to anything very small because, you see, now we are celebrating some anniversary of Kafka. He was an author, and he wrote fantastic books on bureaucracy as to how, the sum total of his books was that how in bureaucracy, we start following the procedures to such an extent that we forget the objective, which is to serve people or to, what is the main objective?
Right.
And this is something which I have seen that we, whether we follow the letter of the law or the substance, that is the biggest challenge for bureaucrats, particularly in any regulatory organization, because if you strictly follow the rule, then perhaps there is a little bit of injustice. In fact, more than a little bit of injustice to the people. And if you do not, then there are chances that you will be hounded for not having followed the rule book. So I wish we could sort of provide more elbow room to the bureaucrats to follow the spirit of the law.
So this was Ms. Garg. We hope you enjoyed our conversation. If you want us to bring more such interesting conversation, then please do not hesitate and like and subscribe our channel. Press the bell icon to get instant alerts. Till then, this is Pallavi signing off. Stay tuned, stay informed, and stay curious. Thank you for watching Indian Mastermind.